Hey guys, how's it going? It is Alexander Williamson here with the secret history of living in your aquarium. How's everybody? How's it going? You're gonna get an echo for a sec. Hold on. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody in here. Who do we have today? We've got Jonathan. We've got Trentley Newman. I like that name. We've got Monster Fish Gal, Fish Dreams, Laura Sutton, let's see, yeah, Brian Levy, what's up? Crypt Keeper Aquatics, Kelly Huff, and who else is hiding in here? Seth Brittingham, what is going on? David Rayner. Verilic KC. I don't know. I hope I said that name wrong. And then For Shore is in here. Levi's Aquatics. Craig, what's going on, buddy? So we got lots of good folks in here. Mick M, what's going on? Dave O, what's going on? Badaboo, hello. How are you? George Aquaballs, what's up, buddy? Chubby Guppy, what is going on, buddy? Tim, how are you doing? Jeff Kane, Lady Diane, Rusty Braids, Young's Aquatics, what's going on, Young? How's it going? And Sunny Cal, William Dollard, Drollard, and Solom Narabu, what's up? And Pennsylvania Fish Preacher, DJ Owen, kind of rounds it out with who's in here for the start of things. So how's everybody doing? Today, I would like to talk about something completely unrelated to fish. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's going to be fish related. I would like to talk about... Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the fish and the fish and the fish and the fish and some shrimp. So basically, what I kind of want to give you guys is my outlook. I kind of do a forecast every December or January every year that kind of gives my thoughts on what's going to be popular in the hobby, what's going to be hot, what's going to be... the things that you can breed at home easily and that you should if you want to make money. Right now, I'm kind of readjusting that. Honestly, the war in Ukraine is going to mess everything up, just like COVID did too. So, yeah. Bjorn, hello. How are you doing, my friend? Collaborations of Curiosity. G'day. How are you doing? And we've got Aquapuncture in here now, too. So, oh, and Anthony's Aquariums. Welcome from Fort Worth, Texas. Good to have you. So, when I was thinking about this episode, you know, there's some timeless fish, obviously. You can, depending on your market, you have to know your market. So go into your local fish shop, and if it's a small town, you may only have one. But if you're in a big city or a medium town, go to the areas around you and look and see what they have, obviously. Whatever they've got a lockdown on, you probably don't need to supply them with. It's not really a winning game to play to say, hey, you've got angelfish, I can get you angelfish cheaper. It's just going to screw you over. So the best thing to do is to breed something that they either can't keep in stock. You know, you go in there maybe and say, hey, do you have this? Knowing they don't. And feel out whether they can get it in or not, you know. And you know, one thing that I've seen several times is it may be specific to your area. You know, it may be that you've got a angelfish breeder that's been doing it for 40 years. He's willing to meet the prices of the international import, and we're going to get a leg up right now as domestic fish breeders. don't let them tell you at a pet store or at a fish shop that, don't let them tell you that, you know, oh, well, this fish only cost me 32 cents wholesale. We'll say, well, what does it cost you landed? Because right now you better add probably at least double that to the price of most fish, especially like nano fish. And then that's kind of going to be the price that maybe you're working with. And it could be even more than that, you know, especially when you go through, well, do you treat them for parasites? Do you treat them for for worms and ick and other things, you know, bacterial infections? So how much are you spending on dosing them, the time you give your employees, you know, all that? I can take care of all of that. So obviously you want to breed healthy fish in the first place, but let's see here. I spoke with Pat of Pat's Fish Tanks, and he is well in Slovakia. Right on. Yeah, I heard that also. Yeah, Peacock Gudgeons actually are a really good one. Peacock Gudgeons I've bred several times. They're not that hard to breed. You do kind of need to keep the parents away from the babies, but that's true with many fish. And they grow fairly quick, actually. There's an infamous video where I discover a peacock gudgeon in a shrimp tank, like a baby peacock gudgeon, and it had been hiding in there. And I think it's the video after, it's a few weeks after. There was a video I posted like maybe 3 or 4 years ago that was like, so it was, okay. So it said that I lost all my shrimp basically. And what happened was some peacock gudgeons, they jumped out of their tank, a male and female pair, and down into a shrimp tank, down from like a rack above. And they ate every baby in that tank in one night. Pretty much every baby. Really a bummer. And just crazy that they jumped and made it into another body of water, and that they both jumped. So I'm assuming one was chasing the other, like whatever, maybe aggressively or mating or something. But we'll go into more about kinds, but I just wanted to kind of talk about a couple things. And then also, if you guys have a question, please make my life easy. My life's so hard. Make it easy, and just hit the @ symbol and then type The Secret History, or even @Alex. That helps more. I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you, Monster Fish Gal. Lori, thank you so much for helping with all the comments and links and all that stuff. I really do appreciate it. James Hand, what is going on? Unfortunately, my local fish store will only give wholesale prices no matter what fish. That is very true. That's very common. I mean, aquarium co-ops, same way, other than Dean, or, you know, some really, really, really out there, unusual or rare thing that's in high demand, like black rams for a while, like a year or two ago. That was one where they would have paid more, or, well, you just couldn't get them wholesale. Right now, probably gold denison barbs. If anybody could breed those, they would do that. So oh, right on. Elite Menagerie Habitats. Louise says, or Louise, sorry. Your yearly trend report. Love your yearly trend report. First one you did for 2022 detailed at least 80% of what I breed. Makes me proud that to confirm my research, you are my yearly go-to aquatic invert prediction expert. Well, thank you. Yeah, and like Tim is saying, wholesale's better than no sale. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we live in a capitalist society, so what are you gonna do? The best price is the best price. So, but what you want to do is don't let them try to lowball you by saying the fish costs 10 cents if really shipping is $1 on top of that too, you know? And I don't want to divulge because the situations vary so much, but I can tell you that I have friends multiple friends who import fish and who buy fish from wholesalers, or they buy fish from local breeders, little mix of everything. And right now, like a CPD or a Bettas, those two fish are amazing to be breeding right now. The other thing that I would highly recommend, anything colorful and native, rainbow shiners, red shiners, bluefin, killies, even like ram's head, or I mean sheep's head minnows, or big head minnows, or golden top minnows. If you can get a hold of some of these local fish, even if you pay more at first than what you're going to sell them for, obviously, it's so worth it. Yeah, so it's just important to know what's for sale in your market too. So do your research. Collaborations of curiosity. Oh man, I've seen black rams for sale online over here in Australia. They're gorgeous. Yeah, so I mean, if you are in New Zealand, for instance, you're going to have a completely different landscape than what I'm talking about right now. There's a good chance that some of these things may apply to you, and that they're fish that are easy enough to breed. So maybe it makes sense for you. But you know, in the fish hobby, there are several things that work, and that's, you know, color, novelty, behavior, or if they are endearing, if they are sweet, or that, you know, like cichlids that take care of their young, people get attached to those, you know. So there's several things that are universal, you know. So, hey, Bjorn, thank you so much for the, is that Norwegian, or I don't know that acronym or the NOK acronym, but thank you so much, buddy, for the super chat, and the fox saying good job, or I think maybe it's a Shiba Inu or a cat, or I don't know what it is. It's some sort of critter that's cute, but thank you so much, Bjorn. So I'm just reading here. Yeah, exactly. The element 186. So that is the key to making your money right there, what you're talking about, buddy. So, female Bettas, you need to find one. Yeah, so does everybody. And there's reasons for that. So let me tell you really quick why you can't find a female Bettas. So when they collect Bettas, they're still mostly wild caught, which is kind of, I mean, to me, it's a little odd. They could probably breed them in captivity fairly easy. But they go out in India, in this floodplain area. There's some in Bangladesh, too. I mean, there's different Bettas, but the scarlet Bettas. And they go out when it's the dry season, and there's like yay amount of water in the field. So maybe a few inches. And it's been there for a few months, and the fish have established little nests, and there's videos of this online. I've seen several of them. And what the collectors go and do, and they're just barefoot like villagers, you know, in India, and they use these poles usually, and then they've got a net, or even just like a coat hanger with a pantyhose or stocking over it, cheesecloth, and they use that to scoop them up. Well, when you go and you try to find Bettas, when the water's still and it's that shallow, they take the pole and they kind of prod around, and the males come out. The males come out from their little nest that they make, or their little territory they defend, and they turn bright red. And in the sunlight, man, they glow. I mean, I've seen them in ponds and stuff, and they glow. The females have no color whatsoever. They do not have little faint red stripes. You know, a lot of people are like, hey, this one has a little bit of red. Is that a female? Probably not. I mean, almost certainly not. They're usually gray. Their fins kind of look a little ratty a lot of times because they get beat up on a lot, and they're a little smaller than the males. But if you can find one and just check stores over and over, they do come in. But basically when they go to catch them, the males come out and they go all cichlid attack mode and territorial, and the females head for the hills, and they're gray, and the mud or, you know, silt dust in the water just hides them. And so sometimes swooping around, they'll get them, but they don't get the females very often, and they assume that people don't care about the females because they're gray. So they're very hard. They're very hard to get a hold of the females, and because of that, one female went for 85. Well, it was a trio, so it was 2 females, and it wasn't. I mean, it was confirmed in our club. It was labeled as such, but it wasn't necessarily even like nobody had gone up and said, okay, for sure, yes, this is, yeah, you know, the right thing. Because a lot of times people say they have a female and it's a sneaker male, and you can tell with the metallic blue on the pectoral fins, and they have striping. Females will not have the striping, and they will sometimes they'll have a little bit of the metallic blue on their pectoral fins, so that is a good indicator. But the males have very bright blue on theirs, and once you get a hold of them, I mean, then you can make more females, no problem. In fact, I tended to breed more females than males when I was breeding them consistently. And recently, I had my colony collapse. I mean, like 6 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. I lost my female because the male hybrid of a Higginsoni and the Scarlet Bettas. So that's the black and red tiger Bettas mixed with the Scarlet Bettas, and the hybridized version was a monster, super mean, bigger than a normal Bettas, super beautiful. But I lost the other fish because of his anger problems. What's going on, Kenny? How's it going, buddy? Good to see you. FishBrella Corporation, what's up? Red Triangle, what's up? Good Life Aquatics, I like that name. Alexandra Fluval, hello. Snailed it. Ross Baltimore, what up? It's good to see a lot of names that I don't see all the time, so it's great to see lots of folks in here. Jetty J, Alex, what's the GH usually in your tank? GH around here, it comes out of the tap as 0. Usually I have crushed coral added to the substrate, or eggshells in the filter, or equilibrium, or some sort of supplement, something. I would say it really ranges. My oldest tanks, they tends to creep up slowly. And I usually have somewhere between like, I'll give you my parts per million hardness. That's kind of a better. So my TDS of hardness is anywhere from about 80 on the tanks. I change the water all the time, like my gourami and killifish, and what else is up there? Some West African cichlids and some rainbow fish tanks. They're at like 80 to 120, whereas shrimp tanks are usually like 240 to 300, somewhere in there. And then my older tanks, like the one back here that's been set up for 6 years now, and I took it on the move with all the substrate still, it's got a TDS of like 350. So it's got Africans in there right now. Over time, you can't really help but have it creep up if you're adding things to it. You mentioned CPDs. What about dwarf rasboras, the dwarf emerald rasboras? Yeah, so I would say that the erythromicrons, the dwarf emerald rasboras, I would say not to breed those as much, just because I don't see them commanding quite the price, which surprises me. I don't know if it's just that they are easy to breed. I mean, CPDs are relatively easy to breed too, but they take a long time to grow. Erythromicrons do grow a little bit faster. Danios take probably 5 months before you grow them up to, or I mean, Celestial Pearl Danios can take like 5 months before they're ready to sell. So the other thing you need to consider when you're deciding, okay, what am I going to grow this year? You know, you need to consider who's got a source internationally that's just flooding the country. So right now, Neocaridina shrimp, unless you have some really coveted variety, you'd be scared to see the prices. I mean, the prices per shrimp are definitely in the 15 cents to 50 cents range for like a standard cherry shrimp, and no more ever than about $2 for like your highest grade blue Neocaridina, ish, maybe 240 at the highest. And you know, so I think there's certain things like that that are just, you can't compete with Indonesia. You know, they've got free heat, it's outside, they've got all the food and bugs and stuff, plus, you know, whatever they need to feed them a little bit supplementally. And then labor's cheap, land's cheap, the water's usually there free, you know. So how can you compete with that when usually that's all indoors in the US? Or if it's down in Florida, maybe it's outdoors, but the labor's expensive, and you know, there's a lot more permits and rules and regulations. So it's just hard to compete. Let's see here. Jamie Lee, I am driving to work meeting. Oh, sorry, that's a bummer. Your mic needs treble turned up. Oh, okay. I can't do that. Wait, maybe I can. Hold on. Let's see what it'll let me do right now. They did add a tweak to it. Let's give this a try. All right, that's about all I can do from here, but we'll see if it helps. Let me know if that helps. Okay, so I can set it after the did my pizza show up? No, not yet. Although last night I ordered a pizza. That one showed up. Better have showed up. So let's see here. FishBrella says, I sell 8 for $40 Blue Dreams. Right, to people, but not to shops. I'm not talking necessarily about to people. I'm talking about like for sure sales to shops for profit. Now, all of what I'm saying is, if you have a market for it locally and you have people to sell it directly to, do that. Sell it through your club, sell it through, you know, whatever, online, however you can locally. Definitely do that. They are basically like right here, right in Seattle, red Neocaridinas are selling for $5. I know for a fact that they get them for 25 cents to 50 cents each coming into the country. Now landed, maybe they're $1. I don't know. But they mark them up more than the 3 times. So in the fish hobby, it used to be said that you need to mark everything up 3 times from all your costs included. Mark it up 3 times, and that's your starting point. And usually it's more like 4, really, 3.5 to 4, and that's where they're comfortable. So if you can't get that, you probably shouldn't be breeding it if that's not enough for what you do. You know, another thing to consider, a lot of people want to breed things like gouramis. They want to breed like maybe like an opal gourami or a 3-spot gourami or the blue gourami or sunset gourami. There may be a little demand for those, but they're one of those occasional sellers, and they have like 500 to 1,000 babies at a time. So if you are successful, you're then kind of stuck with the curse of what do I do with the other 400 I couldn't sell to anyone. So that's up to you what to do there. Some people cull them. They just say, I only need 50 fish right now. And to me, that feels a little hardcore and a little mean. I'd rather breed something differently, but, you know, do what you got to do. Nathan Seaman says, hello, I'm new to your channel, been in the hobby for many years, and currently manage a zoology and ecology lab at Vanderbilt University. Really enjoyed digging through your playlists. Well, thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate that. I try to kind of have these be a little less formal. Sometimes I get into the weeds with research and stuff, but you know, I try to cite my sources. If you're a member of the channel, $99 a month, in the community tab, I always upload my my bibliography of any videos I'm doing. Whatever I've come across that I feel is useful, interesting, or pertinent, especially if I'm saying, hey, the old status quo has changed. The world is not as it once was, you know, that kind of thing. I definitely cite my sources. But I kind of do that. So if you want to challenge me about the sources, you pay $1.99. But no, we have a lot of people that are members, and I appreciate it so incredibly much. It's just consistent income for the fish room. Lets me know like the utility bills are covered, or whatever it may be. You know, each time I get more of y'all subscribing or becoming members that have subscribed, it's just like, okay, well, I know that's taken care of. I can now buy fish food and the utilities and meds this month, you know. But for the most part, yeah. So, that's really cool, Nathan. Welcome. KaraC, what's up? Alex, if one of the locals, I would intentionally not ship females so I can... Alex, if I was one of the locals, I would intentionally not ship females so I can keep shipping fish long term. Oh yeah, Jonathan, that's definitely been let me call it a conspiracy of the fish hobby for a long time, but it's definitely true with like guppies and endlers. Oftentimes when something is new, you cannot, and by the way, that's another great fish to be breeding, fancy guppies. Whatever a new line is, another amazing fish to be breeding this year, Medaka rice fish. They breed pretty quickly. They have a lot of babies, and we are getting some of the Japanese varieties finally that are just incredible. They're luminous. It looks like the word lame, but it's lame. Lame, and that is one of the fish that I would definitely look into. Those, or the ones that look like little koi, or the black ones, or the long fin variants. Those will go for 10 to 15 bucks a piece, retail, and wholesale probably $4 or $5 a piece. You could sell them to your fish store for. At least in Seattle area. And I see that echoed online. Aussie's Fish, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Helps a lot, especially because I got another hospital bill for my back surgery. They're like, everything's covered by red tape. And then they're like, here's a $4,700 bill. So I was in the hospital from 6:45 a.m. until 1 p.m. And I was really like bullheaded about it. I was like, don't give me that morphine. And I was like, get this IV out of me. And walking and trying to put my clothes on immediately, because they told me as soon as I could walk, go to the bathroom, and what was the other thing? I don't know. I had one more thing. I was like, get me out of this hospital. I'm not, like, they're like, why don't you just stay, relax, you can stay the night, we can check you in, and we can make sure everything's good. And I was like, because it's going to be 14 grand extra. And I looked into it ahead of time. And I was told that everything was tier 1 covered. Well, they went by the tax ID number, not by what the doctor signed off as the tier number. And because the tax billing is through the main hospital right now, it's listed as me having to pay basically 20%. This is probably going to be an ongoing gripe of mine because I've had to fight medical bills many times before. But yeah. So, any case, that's my complaining for the moment. Leah Jet, what's up? Welcome. Cichlids 23, what's going on? Good to see you. And you know, the other thing that I'm thinking, obviously guppies and endlers are good. I don't think the other live bears sell as well generally, but sometimes like a Lamia or a Skiffia or a Goodyead, if you can get one that is attractive looking, those are usually pretty good sellers. Like the golden Lamia or the metallic live bear from Jamaica. They're kind of unusual. They're still small. They don't require much food. They don't require much space. And you can breed them easily. You know, another incredible one is the least killifish. They're live bears. They're teeny. They can live outside all the way down to close to freezing. So most places they can probably live outside by now in the US. And they have a lot of babies. I mean, they have maybe 5 babies every 4 weeks or so, just on cue. And yeah, so that is a really good one too. I have a variety called the Okefenokee Blaze, which happens to be an orange and yellow fin on the dorsal fin version of those. Phenomenally beautiful fish. You know, I sell them for $6 to $8 a piece, no problem locally, and to the stores for $2 a piece. I literally just throw them in shrimp tanks and just let them do their thing. Now they will eat shrimps, but I'm just saying when I have enough shrimps already or other nano fish, I'll just throw them in, let them do their thing, and that's that. If only panda loaches were easy to breed. Oh, tell me about it. Those things are $25 to $35 right now. Pygmy sunfish are another really good one. They're small, they're beautiful, they're a native, and they can withstand a lot of different water varieties. $60 a pop for panda loaches. FishBrella says, yep. It's like when they first were discovered, that's like how much they were. Same with CPDs, they were like that much too. Rusty Braid says, I have 2 females and no male Heteranda formosa, or the least killifish. Bummer. Let's see here. Never hear of anyone breeding nearite snails. How hard is brackish environment? It's hard. They don't need brackish, as far as I know. They need actual salt water. The nearite snails live in the mangroves, and they actually need to wash out to open sea for their larval stage to grow, and then they need to come back into the brackish or fresh, and then they can become snails. So yeah. A mono shrimp or another one where it's been done. There are reports online. There's especially Germans and Taiwanese that have done it. But it's extremely hard, and you'd need to scale it up to like thousands output a month for that to probably make sense. T-Bar, how do you sell to a store? Well, not like the big stores like PetSmart, Petco. They usually won't buy anything. But if you go to your local stores, or non-chain stores, or maybe there's only a few of the chain, they usually will be willing to deal with you, especially if you go in there, you buy things a few times. You know, actually, Corey of the Aquarium Co-op has a great series called Breeding Fish for Profit. There's 6 episodes. They're all a half hour or so long, and he goes over all that. If you want to know how to sell the fish store owners, how to keep them in your good graces, he covers a lot of that. He doesn't cover a lot of the internet stuff, and he doesn't necessarily tell you a ton of what to breed. He gives a few examples, like that you can make one tank breed multiple things, which I believe in also, you know, like breed plecos and angels in the same tank, or breed corridoras. They're another great one. If you can get your hand on like orange laser corridoras, for instance, they're just Aeneas corridoras. Breed those suckers. I mean, man, they go for like $40 at my local stores sometimes. And yeah, I mean, you get money for them. So definitely think about that. How much should young 2 to 4 inch electric Acaras be from a breeder? $2, $1.50 to $3, somewhere in there. Probably. Let's see here. Going to make clown babies in future. Oh, nice. Nice, George. All right, let's see here. William, Secret History. What are your top 3 fish stores in the Seattle area? I will be out there for overnight business trip and would like to visit a few stores. Okay, yeah, I'd say my top stores out here for worth visiting. I'd give a totally different order for who's going to give me the most money for fish, but Aquarium Zen, you got to hit Aquarium Zen. I've toured there. A lot of people have toured there. Rachel O'Leary has. Pretty much everyone who comes out here. But they are a store I used to work at. They have an aquascaper, Steve Waldron, who aquascaped the Google headquarters, incredible ecosphere ball things, big buildings. And he's got a very charming, cool little shop. Hardcore and stuff is a little expensive, like, you know, like a little stick. Like, seriously, this stick, if I had paid for it, the price listed, this stick here was $48. So there's some silliness that goes on. But in the city, you know, people don't realize you can go out into nature and get things, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, black and orange Venezuelas. Those are another good Corey. The Equus Corey's another one, good one. So let me finish up that list of shops. So, Aquariums and Denny's Pet World, and probably Aquarium Co-op. Those are probably the ones I would go to. They're all, you can kind of do a circuit or like a little trip. They're all within 20 minutes, 30 minutes of each other. But Aquarium Zen is closed Monday, Tuesday. So there's that. But they have the coolest selection. We don't have anything that's near like the Wet Spot in Portland. That is an incredible fish store that has every fish you could ever dream of. But we have a lot of our shops buy from them, so they kind of have like a critique of that. Now, that's another thing that you guys could do, other than just fish. Branch out. You can get manzanita, you can get driftwood. Just know that it's safe. Try it in your tank and figure out what's what. Do some research. I've got videos on a lot of info on that. But people pay good money for that. They pay good money for good stones. If you've got like a nice, like jasper or quartz or marble type, you know, stone that is found near you, like, go get it. I drive an hour and a half to go get it, load up the back of my pickup truck, literally where they make road cuts, like South Dakota, I know, for an example, or North California, both have some killer stone just sitting on the side of the road in giant piles. And it's already even broken up for you. Or a branch of cholla wood, exactly. If you live in the desert areas, that's another thing you could collect and sell. I liked, Night Rider says, I liked Corey's idea of getting a mini fridge in your fish room and selling frozen fish food. Yeah, I mean, it's the way that they sell the most in fish stores. That being said, I think unless maybe if you did something unique with it. So like maybe if you did like you took morning or bottom scratcher or morning is it morning wood? Do they still make that? Rapashi, and took it and coated it on a nice stick, even just like, you know, a popsicle stick or whatever, and then set that in the fridge, got it to settle up into its gelatin, and you offered to sell those, or shrimp lollipops, or some sort of little sinking pellet, or, you know, something like that, then I would say yes. But at least for Washington, there are so many pet stores that sell frozen food like within 20 minutes that most people are going to be like, I'm not going to buy food from you in your house. But I do think, like, if you're in a more remote area, it could definitely be a good way to make some money. It's just that the shops have caught on. They now know that that's a good way to make money. Let's see here. Noah says, I am a newbie and have had a lot of luck breeding mixed grade red cherry shrimp, considering selling them and starting over with a prettier, more profitable color. Is that a good idea? Yeah, I would. Honestly, the red shrimp coming out of Asia have gotten so incredibly inexpensive. I would go for a really high grade blue, or if you can find a stable green line, green are really highly sought after. If you're able to breed Caridina, go that direction. They're still not being imported in mass, other than crystal reds, crystal blacks, maybe blue bolts, you know, stuff like that. Maybe blue, orange eye blue tigers, tangerine tigers. Those things they'll get imported, but if you have like a really nice pinto, or like an orange-eyed or a yellow-eyed King Kong, or, you know, something kind of a little unique, a little special, and Caridina, you won't sell a ton, but you'll sell a good amount. You'll sell a good amount to the core audience that's into that usually. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on Buna puffers? Oh, right on, Leah. Purple metallic Nanashi shrimp are finally taking off. I would like to see those. Yeah, we never have anything like that around here. That's awesome. Good to hear. Oh, you were thinking of Caridina, but your water's hard. Yeah, you definitely need purified water then, if that's the case. Okay, I'll go over shelving. I see that question. And then also, let me go over the other question about the cichlids. So the thought on the Buna cichlids is, if you live in Chicago or maybe Florida, somewhere where the water's really hard, maybe parts of Kentucky, Tennessee. There's also parts of Tennessee and Kentucky where the water's super soft. But if you live in an area with a lot of limestone in the bedrock and stuff, your water's generally going to be hard. That is where it may behoove you, it may benefit you to raise those there. However, the thing I want you guys to think about is, what's the easiest fish to sell? And it's a fish that can be in any water parameters. And Buna fish cannot be in any parameters. They need their specialness. And so You may be able to get more from fewer people, but you're probably not going to do a widespread operation. So if you love those fish, go ahead and spawn them. But I wouldn't count on it as like a money maker per se. I would say it's probably going to be more hit and miss. And, you know, the same thing is true with like crebensis, normal German blue rams around here, and even the gold ones now. There's too many people that have them. For some reason, apistos are still doing great in Seattle. You can still get $5 for an apisto cockatoides fire red wholesale, or an orange flash or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's been some major shifts lately, and with what's going on in the world right now, shipping is going to get insane. Shipping times are going to get delayed. So sensitive fish that die easily in shipping, will not be as common. I already know people that are just cutting certain things like long fin catches, for instance, cut. A lot of killifish cut. First time here. I'm in the Great Northwest. Do you sell fish? If so, where can I find them? I sell fish one-on-one, and I sell fish at the local club meetings at the Seattle GSAS Aquarium Society. I don't really sell online. It's too chaotic with how many people want them. And I just don't like when one arrives dead. And the whole like logistical part of it, I don't like, because if one ends up dead, it ruins everybody's day. I feel like a jerk. I killed a fish and I did it for profit. And so sometimes I'll send people fish if we're trading like breeding stock or something like that. But I don't really like doing that online. However, I do sell plants once in a blue moon. You know, if somebody wants to spend some money and want some of my rare plants, then that's when I'll put together like a kit, you know, like 50 stems or something, and wrap it up. And yeah. Let's see here. My local fish store had an apistogramma for $5 yesterday. Yeah, that's a good deal. You're in LA though, George. So that's another city where, like, if you're in Ruskin, Florida, or Tampa Bay, you may have quite the cheap fish, because you're right where the biggest wholesalers are, or the biggest transshippers are. Let's see here. What was the shelves, right? So these shelves, they're from Home Depot, and they're the Husky brand shelves that they have as their brand. But I took out all the particle board and I put in what's called marine plywood or ship wood or boat wood at Home Depot. Around here, we carry it at our Home Depots because Washington has so many ships and fishing vessels and stuff. But basically, it's epoxy drenched, different layered veneers and particle board that's like for the bulkhead in a ship or something, you know, in a boat. And so I bought that stuff and I put that in, cut it to the exact size and put it in. It was a little expensive. The shelves are only $54 though. Each of the shelves holds 800 pounds, or no, 600 pounds. But I don't have anything near that on each shelf right now, except for the bottom shelves have like 450 on them or something with the 40 breeders. I'm trying to think what would that be? So it'd be 40 times 8-ish plus, and then some. Hold on, guys. I gotta resituate. My back's hurting. Okay. Dr. Anthony, what's going on? New Local Austin, what's going on? Sketty Nana. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Should I be suspicious of a breeder that sells really cheap? Not necessarily. Some people are really friendly and just like breeding fish, and they can't sell them. I mean, especially if you're in the middle of nowhere, you may have a discus breeder that's incredible at breeding discus. They don't like shipping fish. And maybe there is you know, somebody that you better you know, make friends with. And you know, that's another thing, is if you are somebody who is gung-ho about shipping fish and maybe they're not, maybe you can make some money. You know, say like, hey, can I make a commission off of each fish I sell? Do you want to split it? Something like that. Ginger Graves, what's up? Chris George, Mark Sterelson. We got a whole bunch of people rolling in. Over from Rico's channel, huh? Yeah. Thanks, Rico's channel. Let's see here. Mark, I appreciate you for letting me know that. Let's see here. What else? Hey, Alex, do you know what kind of wild betta could be spawned with Bettas splendens to help improve lines and counteract inbreeding? Yeah, the Bettas splendens. That's what they are. No, I have heard that the Kachina and that the Rubra and that the Kachina, Rubra, Machiensis, and what's the other one that I've heard mixed? There's one more that I know people mix frequently, and that's like what those alien bettas, the newer style, are made out of. Those. Do I know any good videos on or in-depth walkthroughs on how to sell fish online and ship them as well? Aquarium Co-op does a breeding for profit series that's 6 episodes long. It's pretty good. Yeah, Betta Embolus would be a good one too. Yep, that's awesome suggestion by Dr. Mazerel. Dr. Anthony. For sure says, I sell local because I like to meet fish nerds and tell them about Alex's channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is quite kind of you. I have contracts that I can't talk about. Private dancing stuff, George. Interesting. Yeah, you know, I think that the oh, hey, Freaky Fish Lady, what's up? How are you doing, Holly? I hope you're doing well. The other thing that I would suggest is that, you know, some of the wild bettas are probably a good idea to breed. You're not going to sell a ton, but if they are a betta that doesn't have a ton of babies, they could be good. Also, you know, sparkling gouramis, they used to be a nice one to breed. I like to breed those. Now they seem to be $2 or $3 at very, very best case scenario for me. Anyway, my best case scenario, worst case scenario for the store, and more like $1 to stores. So it's just hard to keep up with. I'm doing well, Holly. I'm doing well. My back is hurting, so I'm just kind of sitting funky. But mentally, I think I'm doing well. I guess you never know how you're doing mentally. But let's see. So where were we at after those questions? I just was thinking, my local fish store gives me credit, baby fish, because they've sold me breeding pairs, so they know the lines. Yeah, that's totally true. Hey, Brian, you live in Ruskin, Florida? Right on. Wait, do you live there? I thought you lived somewhere. But in any case, if you live there, got some cheap fish in your area, you go over to Seagrass, just look in the ditch next to their building. There's a ton of fish in that water system, allegedly. According to them, there's none. Let's see here. Ginger Graves, I got 5 black paradise fish from Dan's Fish today. They were they were okay. Nashville. Oh, the snow. Yeah, you had snow. And then 70s today. Wow. They were hot. Nice. My favorite fish for profit, SPD. I get 37 cents each. What is the SPD? Why am I not? Why can't I think of that, George? Not CPD? That'd be really cheap for what you'd get for them. Celestial Pearl Danios around here going for $9.99. So I highly recommend breeding those. Other Danios, not so much yet. There are some micro Rasboras and things that are, CPD. You sell them for 37 cents? George, sell them to me, and then I'll sell them for $1 each. Man, that's a killer price. The other one, rainbow shiners, red shiners, those are going to be great ones. People are getting more into native fish, but tubbing season's coming up too. So that's the other thing to think about. A lot of people want to make money breeding fish. So you sell them the fish that they can theoretically make the money with. Angelfish, rams, and cichlids in general tend to really be that way. People think I'm going to get an X or a Y or a Z, and I'm going to make all this money off of them because they sell for 20 and then they find out that it takes 2 or 3 years. And then they find out that you have to feed them this or that all the time, and they poop all the time, and you have to clean the tank all the time. So while there are some people who are ninjas at breeding like leopard frog pluckos or whatever, they sell now wholesale as babies for as cheap as $35, sometimes less wholesale, like $20. And then they retail for $150. So that's what's kind of messed up about the markup, the 3-fold or 4-fold increase, is if we're talking 50 cents, it's only $1.50, right? But if we're talking $150, that's a lot of profit to be made there for $50 being on the line initially or whatever. So sometimes they bend that, sometimes they go on sale and things like that. Yeah, Dr. Anthony says people just enjoy the hobby. It's not all about making money off your hobby. Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what I said too, is if you want to breed gouramis because you love gouramis, then that's what you should breed. But you're maybe only going to sell a handful of them because they have 1,000 babies and they get big. So you want to sell fish that don't get huge usually. I mean, do you want to sell one fish every few months or few weeks or whatever it may be for $100 or $200? Or do you want to sell a consistent fish for $10 every couple of days? And to me, it's the $10 fish every couple of days, easily. And to me, I don't worry about, is my fish room profiting? I don't really worry about that. I do grow a lot of plants, and the plants are good money too. We'll do an episode on plants because honestly, the plants are the easiest passive way to make money. Once you set up your tank, spend the money on the aqua soils or root tabs and the lights and all that stuff, which a lot of people would just assume have anyways in their tanks. But if you're into that kind of tank, into the planted tank, you can just crank them out, a few inches of plants a day in some like Mayaka and Kabamba and Lodias and things like that, parrot's feather. Where's a good place to get blackworms in culture? I don't know anymore. There is a spot. There's several spots, but there's mainly one company out of California. And a year ago, they reset all their vats where they grow them because of a trematode or a nematode that was in there with them that was causing parasitic illness. And they had to kill everything. But I don't know, and then they reset. And then yet again, I hear that now they're not shipping. I didn't hear that they've killed them all again. But right now they're not shipping again from that specific place. So there's some issues with sourcing them, at least out here on the West Coast. There may be other sources that are much better. So let's do a shout out to Dr. Anthony and the Amazon Research Center. If you guys don't know about it yet, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't know about it yet, there is a raffle going on, and it's a trip for two to the Amazon rainforest in Peru. And you can win that by spending $50 on a raffle ticket. If your name's drawn at the end of this month, you win. You get a trip down there. You stay there for a week. You got room and board, AC. They've got actually servants that fan you with palm fronds and feed you grapes. And that part's not true. But you can go fish collecting and get buttworms, according to our talk last night. There's no buttworms. But there may be candiru. No, it's a very nice setup. His center is really cool looking. And in the future, if any of you guys are grad students or just you've been dreaming of going to the Amazon, they can facilitate that happening at the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fish. They can hold people for a few days. People can come and work for, like 3 weeks, I think, is the intern time minimum. And then they can go out and collect, 30 minutes, 40 minutes away, hour away, and bring back like 800 different species from the river. Pretty incredible opportunity. Plus, just the cultural enrichment of going and seeing something like Iquitos, I think would be really cool. But only $50, and it supports a good cause. So I am all up for sending people over to the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes. Let's see here. At work, have a great stream. Right on, Upper Aquatics. You have a great work. James Hand, what's up? Test, what's up? So I was trying to think about any other fish that are good. There's some that are just too easy to breed. Bristlenose plecos, those are one that's okay. If you're okay with getting $2 or so for the babies. And a lot of people are, but I think a lot of people look at breeding as a way to say, can give to anyone except if they're under 18. They must be with someone over 18 for that Amazon trip. Right on. Yeah, and open, if you're in the US or Canada or Europe, wherever, there's just a $2,000 limit on the plane ticket amount. So other than that, it's a trip for two from anywhere. You just have to pay the difference if it's more expensive because you live in Kathmandu or something. Let's see here. For sure, have a good night. Take care, buddy. Let's see here. What are you talking about, Craig? You caught 100 of what? So in any case, whoa, there's just a huge thump and boom outside of my house. That was weird. I don't know what it was. Maybe like a dump truck or something. Oh, Bolivians. Nice. Bolivian rams. Another cool one to breed, if you can, are some of the more expensive tetras. If you have a big metro area where people are into paying enough for that, where there's a big enough base of them. But really, I think, live bears are where it's at. Native North Americans, CPDs, small gouramis are nice, like little sunset or honey gouramis, which are kind of the same thing. I'd stay away generally from the killifish and things like that, just because they're pretty niche. There are some killifish you could go with that are really beautiful and people might be interested in. The other one, if you do know people in a club, pencilfish like red coral or crimson or purple pencilfish. That's another good one. Bettas, Koi Nemo Bettas. Just, you know, you got to get good stock though. You can't start with a pet PetSmart or Petco level betta. You got to get them from someone who's really got the good quality stuff, like a Koi Nemo betta or a Galaxy or a Hellboy or Mustard Gas, you know, whatever. A really good quality line. You can make some good money. ADHD Aquatics, what's going on? I'll send you some pictures of bettas I breed, Alex. I'm so proud of me. Right on. Sandy, what's up? If you had 20 fish tanks, all 29 gallons, what would you stock on a monthly basis? Dude, that's such a long question. ADHD, please teach me how to be profitable. I'm doing my taxes now and I spent too much last year. That's good. Write off all your crap. Write off all your tanks. Just don't do it 3 years in a row. If you don't make money 3 years in a row, they're gonna audit you. No, they're not going to, but there's a higher chance that they will. So try to make some money. Like even if it's a buck, just don't everything off and make some money. So let's see here. Can honeys go with Neocaridina shrimp? I wouldn't. Gouramis will eat anything that fits in their mouth. An adult shrimp's not going to fit in their mouth necessarily, but a little one definitely will. Trying to think of if I had any other big examples of stuff that you can make. You know, chocolate gouramis. That's another one that people seem to be really interested in. Look for like videos that come out by Aquarium Co-op or King of DIY or whatever it may be. But if it's a fish that they're enamored, you know, with, or that they talk about a lot, there's probably a chance that a lot of people are seeing those videos. When you see like 500,000 views on a video, it's probably a fairly good indication that at least there's a market. If it's something that can live in most people's tanks, isn't a ton of money, and is reasonable enough to source locally. Now, I like to breed white cloud minnows and meteor minnows, and I bred barbs and paradise fish, tiger barbs. And, you know, tiger barbs, there was no point in breeding those for profit. You get 10 cents or whatever, 30 cents for those. But I enjoy it, and I like breeding them outside. So, yeah. Only gourami I allow in my house. Invasive bastards. Yeah. Yeah, they're taking over Amazon. Lost my internet. Sorry to hear that. All right. Who else? Do we have any other questions? I saw a betta with lemon yellow spots and blue sparkles a few weeks ago. That's cool. That's really cool. What do you think about dwarf gouramis? Sparkling gouramis or the powder blue dwarfs? Because the powder blues, they're okay, but you usually can't sell the males because they're too mean. But chocolate gouramis, I think, are a hot ticket. Sparkling gouramis don't get enough money. But again, if you like breeding them, breed them. They're easy to breed. Sparkling or croaking gouramis, either one of those, they're super easy to breed. So do it to it. All you got to do is do it. Put your mind to it. And Alex, I'm having a hard time becoming a member. Is there a join button? There should be. If you back out of chat, usually, you might have to go to, actually, it's, if you back out of chat, underneath the thumbs up, thumbs down, live chat, share, and a little flag that says report, there's then a little picture of my icon, and it says Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, 28,000 subscribers. Then you can click a little blue button that says join on mobile. That's how it usually looks. But if that doesn't work for you, click the little downward arrow on the lower right-hand side of your screen. And that's the description. And in the description, the first link in there is for join. And so you can go there that way. You have to go onto a tablet to get a join button, Crypt Keeper says, on iPhone. Okay. Yuns, what's up? How are you doing, girl? I'm wondering what a fair price to charge for live blackworms to store or to people. Say for 1 teaspoon. I found a local source and now I'm poultry. Right on. You know, some stores won't carry them because of how often they've had trouble with parasites in them. But if you can get them to trust you, they want to buy them. I usually pay. It's actually not that good of a price. I mean, I usually pay about $3 to $5 for an ounce, which is like, you know, 2 fingers in a Ziploc sandwich bag full of them out of the refrigerator of just worms, no substrate. So you kind of need a lot of worms to make money. That being said, to breeders to sell as a culture to start, maybe $10, $20. I don't know. People might pay $20. $10 seems more fair-ish, like in a little kit to me. I bet you could sell them like hotcakes. For a while, when I was selling the vinegar eel kits, they were selling really well. But then everybody got vinegar eels. But I did buy one of your vinegar eel kits, Yuns, at the last auction. Where did I put it? Because all my vinegar eels apparently froze or cooked or something, but they weren't doing well. Mountain Greenery, slow, dramatic clap for the new member of the day. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. It helps out. You rock. Secret History Living in Your Chrome. Why are discus still so expensive? Not much harder to breed and raise than angelfish. A lot of people are breeding them nowadays. I see your point. One is the higher heat and the fact that they don't go in a community with, you know, they need a low TDS, good oxygen, high heat, and who else, what other fish do you want to keep with them? And it limits you a little bit. So that's one part of it. So people don't just have them sitting around and ready to pull out and breed in a tank. Another part of it is the way that they take care of their young. Another part of it is that, honestly, Asia and other places do it very cheaply. So for $10, you can get wholesale, you know, a nice pigeon blood discus. I don't know, bigger than a silver dollar. So it's probably more the overseas thing, but also they're good sized fish. So when you ship them, unless they're itty bitty babies, they're pretty heavy and they are an upright fish. So in their little container, they could definitely fall over and they need room to turn and stuff in there. So I think, yeah, I think they do that. Yoon says, Yoon's Aquatic says, nice, thanks for getting my vinegar eel system. My platinum white Medaka rice fish fry are super into them now. Yeah. Same with like Corey's, Bettas of all species. If you guys can get some of the unusual Bettas, those would sell hot right now. But the unusual rice fish, I'm telling you, those are going to sell really well. Fish that can survive in that the most different environments will sell well. I think wild Caridina species will sell well. Anything that you need to get into the country that's a little hard to get in, you need to find like a guy who knows a guy or a source kind of thing. That stuff is all gonna always be worth money to someone. The thing is, you may not consistently sell it all the time. Your local fish store had vinegar eel starter cultures for $25 to $35. Bastards. No. That's a lot, though. I don't know if I could stomach that. So I feel like we've gone over a good number of the fish. You know, bettas were another one, whatever the hot new betta this week is. They're pretty easy to spawn. They have a lot of babies. Paradise fish, I thought might be fun for growing outdoors. Didn't sell a whole lot of them. They're not very nice. You can kind of only keep them with each other. I mean, that's not true, but they'll beat up on a lot of fish. So you're living in your aquarium. For Caridina, will the base species be better or crossbreeds? Probably it's best to get the baseline so you know what it is. Otherwise, it's going to be a Mishling, and you're not going to know what the genes are going to do. What would you pay for 25 grams of live grasshoppers in season? Or 250 grams? I have no idea. But live grasshoppers, for big fish, that would be a hit. I mean, those are all creative ways to make money too. Mosquito larva, if you could sell that in portions, if you can figure out a way to clear it out of your tanks or tubs in the backyard, definitely. Vinegar eel test tubes should be, or vinegar eel culture should be sold in test tubes, $9.99 at the store as a starter culture. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's super fair price. Can you do multiple paradise fish in a species only? I thought they would hate each other. You can sometimes. It's not predictable. I've got a lot of juveniles that live together right now. I've got 9 of the albinos living together, males and females, but they fight a lot if there's any sign of trouble. They don't rip each other's fins or anything, but they just don't seem to be loving life. Do you think Arizona snakeskin endlers would sell? I don't know. Hold on. I don't know what that is. Arizona snakeskin endlers. Arizona snakeskin endler. They look real close to. They look really close to black bar endlers or some of the wild class endlers. I would go with something more like a leopard or a tiger or a split tail or an Arctic blue or like a fire and ice or a pingu or a long fin or thread fin. Even though thread fin, I think they're kind of mean because they're on a podium so long that just drags behind them, and then they've got these long fins and they fight each other sometimes and they rip them apart. So that's a bit of a bummer. So how is it even possible for glowfish to be illegal to breed? Never understood that, since they can do it without. You can breed glowfish. Like the Danios will just breed with each other. They're not sterile. Yeah, so you can breed some of them, at least. I don't know about all of them, but you can breed some of them. What size tank are your 9 paradise fish in? Oh, yeah. They're in a 5-gallon right now. They're babies. I mean, they're not baby. They're from freaking summer, so they've been around a while, but they're slow growers. They're up here. You can see how big they are. So they're, maybe you can, I don't know. Can you guys see this guy? And this guy? Some of them are a little smaller, like that one. And then the adults are over here in a 20 long with some barbs too. So there's that. I also was breeding Beckford pencilfish right here. The variation in these guys is pretty interesting. I also got some, and I forget their name, but they're like a little type of Acara. And then also my Turkana Jewel Cichlids are finally red, and or the blue's really obvious, but the red's coming in too. And let's see, who else is around? Oh, and the Aquascape tank is, if I'd say so, looking pretty decent. I was cleaning up a little bit of algae that was starting here. We had a little bit of algae that was a pain in the butt. Hold on. But I've been able to just kind of take paper towels, literally underwater with a paper towel, and just kind of wipe off the surfaces, and then use this baster to just suck up any of the floating algae that's forming. Now, I'll do a video follow-up on the algae process, the algae treatment of when you've got a new tank that's aquascaped with high nitrate, high nitrite, ammonia type bearing soils. It always algae's over. I have a video, I think, called like your first algae bloom, or like new tank algae bloom, and that goes over a lot of that for you if you're interested in that video. Hold on, guys. But yeah, that's kind of an inevitability, especially with CO2, highlight, and fertilizers all being a part of the tank. But we're already getting really good carpeting in here. In fact, I need to turn the CO2 on. We'll see how. This little mini CO2 system, still not loving it, but it is sufficing for now. This little CO2 system here. Here, I'll lift the whole thing off. This one. But, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? All right, guys. Well, I'm probably going to get out of here before Bentley goes live. Why CO2? I'm growing a carpet on the floor, as well as some very sensitive crypts, Rotala mini butterfly, Stellodon dawsons, Hippodrites limnophilia, some dwarf hairgrass, some dwarf baby tears, limnophilia, Hippodrites, Tonina fluvatus. So yeah, I'm doing quite a few different things. The Copa Colorada is looking nice and red. So I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming. But thank you for watching, Holly. And super chatters, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Members, new members, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Current members and existing members, thank you guys so much. Means a lot to me that you guys like the content. Again, as a member, you get now an episode every single day of the week, basically. I do 2 live streams, Tuesdays and Fridays, 4:30. And I also do the longer video usually once a week, and then a shorter kind of list of like top 10 this, or this is new in the field, this. And then if you're a member, you get a 4-part episode that is shown on the morning aquatics show with 4 little segments, somewhere between 3 minutes and 10 minutes long, about whatever the newest news is in our hobby, as far as peer-reviewed journals go, peer-reviewed, scholarly journals, big news stories, ecology, biology, fish, invertebrates, that kind of thing, or history. And so that's called Fishtory, exclamation point. And Fishtory is also on the Aquatic Morning Show at 7 a.m. Pacific till, 7 to 9 Pacific, and 10 till noon Eastern. Is that what it is? How often do I see CO2? I have 3 tanks right now that get any CO2 whatsoever. And one gets it all day, all the time that the lights are on, 2 bubbles a second. And the other one gets 1 bubble a second for half the time the lights are on. So for about 6 hours a day. And that's in the other room. Here, we'll go look at it real quick. That's in the other room. But this is just a higher techscape with the light and the substrate and liquid fertilizer, all that stuff makes it pretty, it grows very fast. You kind of got to take it, yeah. Sergey, welcome. New to the show, looks great. We'll be watching more. Thanks. Right on. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Oh, I guess I didn't turn the lights on out here. We'll turn them on. They need to go on. I'm holding the laptop, so forgive me. And we're going rogue mic here. All right. So basically, I've got this little CO2 diffuser. There we go. Come on. I just unplugged it. Good job, Alex. But it's in here sometimes. that's the secret to this tank. Sometimes. This tank's kind of a monster anyways. It just grows and grows, and it's super densely planted anyhow. It's a 50-gallon. And then this is a 25-ish or 24-gallon rimless, and it gets some CO2 also. But I kind of just manually trade back and forth between which tank gets the CO2. And you can see them on more live streams and other stuff I do. But yeah, so I'm going to get out of here. Water resistant plant, what's the real name? Salvinia, probably, or frogbit, depending on, it depends. Different people call different things the water spangles. I'm not sure though. Ludwigia, the Mosaica one, is also pretty interesting. Thank you, Dr. Anthony. I'm so glad to make you jealous. First I had the longfin tetras, and now I've got a new tank. What can I do to make you jealous next? Get some wild discus that are like trained to sing barbershop quartet. That would probably make you jealous. What do I think of DIY CO2? Okay, that's probably going to be the last question I'm going to do today. And that would be, I'm getting too hot, guys. Yes, I have done the reactor CO2. It's not as concentrated. It's not as pressurized. You got to wait to turn it on, like get it going, like when it's starting up. There are some reactors that you can buy that keep the pressure consistent at a low pressure, but you're probably going to get like maybe 1 bubble a second max, and it's about 50% CO2. Then like sometimes it's like part methane, part nitrogen, part oxygen. So it's not pure always. Usually you cannot just inoculate one bacteria or one yeast into the reactor just because of like life lives everywhere. There's spores everywhere, and by default something else will be in there metabolizing something else other than just the gas you're intending. But that being said, it's better than nothing, and a low grade CO2 can maintain what a high pressure CO2 did. Like if you raise things high pressure CO2 with a nice diffuser. And then you put a reactor on that after it's at its bright colors and everything. You can kind of keep it going for quite a while. Or you can actually take CO2, put it in a cup or a bowl or a bottle, and then flip it upside down. I mean, it's invisible, so you kind of have to know what you're doing with the gas. But flip it upside down, put it in so it's floating in the tank. It'll diffuse out into the tank. It's heavier than air. So there's that. Well, I hope that this was somewhat useful for you guys. The other thing with CO2 reactors is you do have to buy citric acid and baking soda or gelatin, or it just depends on like what system you're using. But you have to buy stuff, and then you have to clean stuff, and then you have to reload stuff and reuse stuff. It's not the biggest deal, but it does take up space. It does take up time. It's one more thing to think about. I just prefer CO2. I mean, the initial investment sucks. It's like $200 or $300 for a good system. But once you have it, it's like $15 to refill, and maybe get a new diffuser every few years for $40 or $50. It's not too bad for the amount of money I make out of that tank. I sell $100 bundles of plants out of that tank every weekend, pretty much. It's part of what sustains the family or the bills around here. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been really good seeing you and all the folks that are in the chat tonight. Bentley Pasco has a show later, so if you guys are interested, you can go over there. I think Ladies Night also is at 503 Aquatics, is having a show probably. And you could also just go watch TV or go watch your fish. But if you're a member, be sure to go to the community tab. Check out the video links there. Some of them, if you go back a little ways too, some of the fisheries are not at all on playlists or anything, because they're kind of hidden. They're unlisted. So you have to be a member to go check. But thank you so much. And you know what? To my moderator of the night, Lori, thank you so much, Lori. You are incredible. You're the best. You rock. You are the monster fish gal. And I appreciate it so very much. To everybody else, love your input. Thanks for the questions and thoughts and supportive, cool atmosphere. We didn't have to deal with any BS tonight. Very chill stream, and I appreciate that greatly. So I'll be back on Friday, and also I'll probably have a video or two in between then. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Take care of your fish, your plants, your water parameters, and the people around you. But before you do all that, take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't do those other things. And I think if half of us did half of that stuff, or tried anyways, we would have a world that is twice as good. So thank you so much for joining. I will talk to y'all later. And lurkers, replay crew, love you. And I'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, if you want to continue this episode, and is it a good fish, is it a bad fish, please enter it in the doobly-doo, in the chat, in the comments down below. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. And Dr. Anthony, be sure to get your tickets in for that Amazon aquarium in the forest collecting crazy trip that the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fish is setting up. All right, guys, have a good one. I've been saying goodbye for far too long. Bye-bye. Take care.